Twin flames. Anyone ready for one of those? I had a client and I was just talking to them a little while ago, and we were talking about how painful the relationship was with that individual, and how she had read a lot about twin flames, and everything that she had read about them, she thought that, you know, why is it that it wasn't light and love and roses and all the rest of it? And we were talking about it, and I said, literally, from the information I've channeled and the information I found out from myself and, you know, contact and spirit, that the soul, on many levels, that part of the soul that's sent here in having your human experience, your soul can't do the work away from your physical self. The soul cannot feel those feelings, your higher self away from you, that part of your soul cannot have those interactions, human interactions, or know exactly how it feels. It has to experience it through that, for you as a human being. So that's why you come here in the first place, so you can experience everything, so you go through everything, you know, you whatever. Having all your senses, you know, feeling, seeing, hearing, taste, and everything else, by you actually being in this moment of actually going through your experiences, the soul learns, the soul takes in all that information and experiences it on all the different levels that you go through it. So when you are then faced with this twin flame, that you enter into this relationship that you're attracted to like a magnet, I mean, that's the whole reason, is attracting to you like a magnet. It's that other part of you, that's the part that needs to look at itself. So like a reflection of what work needs to be done internally. So coming together, it's like the work that you do on yourself through that relationship helps the other person as well, which is part of your soul and your growth, whatever. But it's painful, really painful. And, you know, my client was saying about how, you know, that she wanted that partner to really love her the way she wanted to be loved, but couldn't understand. She loved it so much, her heart felt so sensitive, so vulnerable, and she really opened up to this partner. But the thing is, the other person couldn't connect with her because of how she said also that she felt broken, and part of her journey, and how she wasn't, you know, completely fixed. Now, fixed to some degree, you can't, you know, they're broken and feeling fixed, whatever. I feel that those experiences of helping us to grow and to be who we're going to be and who we're meant to be, but we have to have that human experience. We have to encounter it for us to grow, to be who we're meant to be honest. And yeah, it's painful. And then finding a twin flame who you think, wow, this is the person for me, and they can't love you, or they might even realize it, to be honest, or they're in a situation where they might be in a relationship and you might be in a relationship and they can't come out of those relationships for whatever reason, and that's more the human self. So very complicated and complex, but the twin flame is very much a reflection of the inner work that needs looking at within yourself. And then when it's brought to you as like a mirror reflection, it sort of shows you what work that needs doing on yourself, really, to be honest. And then coming together and doing that work. Now, a lot of people that I know who've encountered twin flames, as in people that they have such an attraction to, that they are so much like them, it's part of themselves. You know, they look in their eyes and it's like part of them, they're sort of loving that other part of them. They've literally brought this person in life so that he can grow and so they can expand, to be honest. When we looked at this with one of my clients, and we was talking about it, and I said, what has it shown you? What has it taught you about yourself? And, you know, we looked at that, and initially they couldn't find what it is that they learned from that relation. They're just so heartached by everything that had happened. But we looked at it and I said, well, would you have known that if you hadn't have entered into that relationship? And she told me the other person was really depressed and how they thought about themselves, and they just had no space for her to come into. And it was about then looking at, what did she want, my client? And it was that wanting to be loved, wanting to connect to somebody, you know, and they'd come out of their situation and, you know, they sort of gave everything up for this individual. It sort of taught them on a different level. So I think we have to be careful with we think of twin flames being like light and fluffy. It's not so much about that. It's really about personal growth, and personal growth can hurt. It's, you know, you've had that terminology of growing pains. It's very much like growing pains when you experience things that you go through, and expand yourself. But it's the whole thing is about realizing that it's about a teaching, like a little lesson for your soul. So your soul growth, for your higher self, is sending you this so that you can grow. The earth is where you grow. It's where you have this growth. And that's why you're sent here, to experience all those feelings. And that's why we have all our senses. That's why we can interact with each other. But it's almost like the information has been shown. It's like your higher self looks down at where you are on the earth plane and looks at your progress and watches over you, because that's your higher self. That is part of your soul that wants to grow, wants to learn, and cannot do that in the soul, wherever it is, in divine universe. It has to have the human experience. It cannot feel those human feelings. I know when I have, loved ones that come through from the other side, working as a medium, when they come and through and they sit inside my body as a trance medium, they make me aware that once they've left their vessel, their human being, and they've passed over, they don't feel the feelings as they did when they were human. So your soul is having its human experience so that it grows and expands. Yeah, and twin flames aren't easy. They're not easy at all. If you see a twin flame, I was going to say run. No, don't. It's just part of you learning and growing. But it's not about beating yourself up. And my client sort of said, in those moments where she has this bliss and she feels happy in herself, it's easier to deal with things and to connect to divine source and, the fifth dimension, and feel happy in herself. But when she's going through a difficult time, like all of us, it is difficult then to, trust in what our journey is and hope that we're on the right pathway. And it's in those moments that, that's not the moment to make those harsh decisions. That's in those moments. It's about, you've got to learn to take that time of self-care, preservation. Self-preservation is so important. So if you're having a down moment, and if you've gone through this experience of, entering into a relationship and you feel that was your twin flame and it was teaching, listen, all relationships are teaching us lessons, then just be kind to yourself. Start learning what you can to do to look after yourself. That's the most important thing. And you've got to ride it out. You've just got to take those moments just to be still. What is it that you can do for you? If it means the salt bath, or it means going for a walk in nature, if it means contacting some friends, eating your favourite chocolates, whatever it is, take that moment, be with it, nurture yourself, because you're worth nurturing yourself. It's what it's all about. So just wanted to send this out to everyone, just so that, just because I'm being asked all the time about twin flames and connecting and everything else. So I hope this helps if you're out there and you just want to know a little bit more information. I hope it covers everything. If it doesn't, leave some notes. Leave me a message. Leave me a little message so that I can get back to you. Because there's only so much I can give you information in this, and I'll get back to you and see if I can help you. Okay. With the energy that we have at the moment, it's super, super fast, super fast. And so it's very much at the moment about abundance in the sense of with manifestations. So if you're sort of coming from the mindset as in being at a fearful stage right now, worrying about money or relationships or work or new job going into, or is your work going to serve you or whatever, or if you're going to lose your job, that energy that you're sending out right now is going to be picked up by the universe, and it's almost then it sort of reinforces it. So where you might be thinking as in I need a new job or I want a new job, that's you're coming from sort of fear, and it's sort of the connections of worry, what's been happening to you over your life of what's happened. But because there seems to be a bit of a shift in the energy, they're saying it's more about looking about what it is that you want. So it's like, if money is the thing, it's about, I can't wait to see all that money come into my bank, or I see all that money come into my account. I can see all those clients. I can see that new job. It's just sitting there waiting for me to walk through the door. I can see that new person in my life, and oh my goodness. And so it's about seeing it rather than coming from a lack of it, because at the moment the energy will be picking up from the universe about lack of what you don't have. They'll focus on that and you're going to get more of it. So this week,
Watch where you allow your energy to disappear to. Watch where you send your thoughts off to. And very much what they're saying about, there will be some that will be coming from the sense of lack of and fear of and being stuck in the area. And while you do that, you then end up bringing your energy down, and it's going to be quite draining. There's going to be a lot of tiredness through this week because of the shifts that are happening with the energy around you. But what I'm hearing loud and clear is very much about bringing up negative old patterns, old things coming up, bringing to the surface, okay? Now, one of the things they were talking to me about was very much about, especially over this week, okay, I can see what you mean. So, especially this week moving forward, about making decisions, if you've got to give a reply about a job, or, you know, you've got a new client, or, you know, or there's a relationship. This week would be very much about you using all your skills, all your talents, all your tools that you have. And being aware of how you make those decisions. Okay, thank you. They just said to me. Now, the difference between, this is what they're just saying, the difference between intuition and the subconscious mind and is the negative self-talk, okay? So negative self-talk, listening to what might come up in your mind. If it's been very negative and dragging you back, you know, you're stupid, you can't do this, you know, who's going to believe in you, or, you know, I can't do this because of whatever. If you're coming from a negative mindset, this is your subconscious mind, okay? Coming from that inner voice as such, I normally call it my little whisper that I hear in my ear, or that gut feeling. It's more about coming from an empowerment and encouragement and leading you on your pathway. So if it's about making a decision or looking forward to moving forward into something new, it's about asking the divine or asking your spirit guides, asking your higher self. You'll hear the information back, or receive the information back, or feed it information back from an encouraging, empowering tone. It won't be from the negative mindset. The negative mindset is your subconscious mind that still sits in there, keeps you small, all those old limiting beliefs that you might have. And that's the difference. So during this week, if you're having to make a decision, or if you're having to think, should I do this, should I do that? Should I try this new thing out? Should I try that relationship out? Or whatever it is, or the job, or whatever it is that's going on for you. If you come from asking your higher self, that's almost like, I mean, some people would say a prayer, or, you know, sending it out. And it's about, you're going to hear encouragement or something empowering. It's not going to be judgmental. So if you want to make a decision about something, you ask yourself and you're wondering where it's coming from. Should I do this? Should I do that? If it's negative, it's going to be from your subconscious mind, old limiting beliefs. So it's about really focusing this week. I keep repeating this, but it's really important this week in particular, and possibly leading over to next week, that you really send it out and wait to hear what you hear. And you'll know from who you're receiving the information. Is it the old self-limiting beliefs? Because that will be about putting yourself down, you're unable to do it, you can't do it, and that will be from that point. And the other one, I keep saying it, I'm sorry I have to repeat it again, is literally, it's going to be empowering, it's going to be the encouragement and stuff like that. Okay. What I'm hearing very clearly is the feminine energy is more of a nurturing energy to some degree, and not to be gender specific, but it is very much, as they're saying, is that feminine energy is the tender gentleness to step back, to observe, to hold, to stop, look and listen. Whereas some of the masculine energy, and this is not as defined by male, female, but the masculine energy does step forward when it needs to act, as in it needs to respond, as it needs to defend. But what they're saying very clearly is that the feminine energy creates that balance. It's been out of balance for too long on the planet, where the energy has been more about defending this energy that's coming in is not about defending. This energy is about supporting and guidance and nurturing. That's what's coming in. So it's very much about this moment, how it will offer the guidance, the support, tender. It's much more tender. Oh, thank you. But then hearing that, I just also heard this. Also, the other side of this feminine energy, it's a strong energy. I just have a lovely goddess stepping forward, and she's very strong. And she says that it's also about the other side, where there is that strength in by standing still, by observing, by taking the time, she says. It's from the heart. It's a different energy altogether. So allowing yourself to be in that energy, that feminine energy, male, female, is irrelevant to some degree, but to hold the space for others by being patient, to allow others to take this time to process their feelings, because of the change that's happening on the planet right now, that there may be like an uprising of individuals who are fearful. And it's really about this time as in holding the space for others. So with this fearfulness of coming up of change, this feminine energy is really about, it's going to be the driving force of supporting, nurturing and offering guidance, but done in a different way. And there's an empowerment in that. There is power in stepping back and observing and just being there and offering guidance. It's not about war or fighting. And even though, as I just heard, your planet has been very much about fighting and protecting, this is not about fighting and protecting. And then I just heard, why do you feel that light beings haven't been able to expose themselves to your planet? There is change happening on your planet. Many of you will see more of those UFOs, those aliens, light beings, light workers that will come forward, because there will be those that will hold the space for it. So the feminine energy is about holding the space for others, but not fighting, but being strong.
Many humans believe that the animals, that you choose them, they come to you. It has already been written, it's already been put in place. The animal that comes to you at any given time. The animals know when they need to come into your life. You do not choose them. They have chosen you before you have been created and born. Those animals have been chosen to come into your life at any given time. And also they leave at any given time when their mission has been completed. There are many that have passed recently because their job has been done. It's not any reason as in the humans necessarily, but we do see harm being done to animals through many humans, and we will adjust that when we then adjust them. The humans come at any given time, their personality and who they are. It's never a mistake why you find an animal. And the journey that you go on with that particular animal will help you to grow too. I love it. And they just said, they said, let's explain. It's the reconnection to your higher self, the reconnection to your own frequency is the most important at first. You have to know where you are, how you're feeling. Because if you know how you're feeling and you focus on lifting up your energy in a sense of, look, they're saying it's not lifting your energy just for the sake of it, but what they're saying is about nurturing yourself. Always keep coming back to nurturing yourself. When you nurture yourself, it lifts up your energy frequency. You know, if you turn on the music and you get a song that you absolutely love and you start dancing, you start singing, it raises up your energy and it's lovely. But then if you get someone that comes into the room, they turn it down, it's like straight away, it's like, oh, it's changed straight away. Now, what Spirit is saying, it's more to do with the fact that
keep coming back to you, keep connecting. If it means you like focusing on yourself, it has to be yourself first. Keep connecting to yourself to have your frequency where you want it to have your bliss. You're only here to manage yourself, no one else. Those around you that may need assistance, they have to be in a position that they are ready to ask for assistance. They have to be at the stage where they want to feel happier in themselves. There is no way that you can be that clown doing the balloon animals and everything else and, you know, juggling the plates in the air and everything else by trying to make them happy, because it won't work. And then it will bring down your energy and make you feel upset and make you feel down. That's not the point. That's not what the universe is saying. The universe is saying it's more about you focusing on your energy, like being at that party, and you're most likely then going to connect to others that are very similar to yourself. As we move forward, the energy is going to be more of a bigger shift on the whole planet. So it will be less people that will be the ones that are like, you know, the sad ones that are upset, that are angry, maybe they just said blindfolded to what's been going on in the planet. You know, for those who are just here to make money, you know, there's a different types of people, basically. There's many different types of people. I'm trying to keep a hold on to what they're going to say next. And so there's a different selection of people on the planet, just like if you go to a party. Now, with yourself or others who are with, I know, you know, some of my family or friends and everything, some of those that are maybe feeling a little bit down, want support, yes, I'm there to offer it. But it comes at a price, I just heard. It does come at a price. So that, you know, certain members of my family, if I speak to them, I might feel a bit down after I've spoken to them. But I know that. I know it's not me. I know it's them, how they're feeling. That's brought me down a little bit. So then I go off and I then put the music on, that's something I really enjoy listening to raise up my energy, to make me happy. It's not your job to go and change anyone else or to make them happy. Because if they're not in a place in themselves when they're ready for that, there is no way they're going to change. But the more people on the planet that become more aware of how they're feeling, who are their self-caretakers of who they are and where they are, it then becomes a ripple effect, and more people will be interested in lifting up the frequency on the planet. So your job is not to change anyone. It's there, yes, you can support those individuals, but it's going to be contagious in the sense of that the more people that are in a high frequency, that are tuned into what feels right for them, we will then end up teaching the others by them looking at us, by seeing that. If we think of the human brain, there's this thing, this mirror thing in the brain, I can't think what it is called or anything, but it's about how, with empath and how we look at people and they smile, we smile back. It's the same thing. We were programmed with this in our brains. Okay, so and I know that certain people haven't got it to some degree, or if there's been head injury in the frontal lobe, it's not going to be prefrontal lobe. Okay, fine. But what happens is we smile, someone smiles back at us, mostly. 99% of the time. And it's very much ourselves up there. When we lift our energy and when we focus on us lifting it up and we take care of ourselves, it's likely that others around us will then start taking care of their own energy. It's like energy maintenance. It's their taking care of the energy, and that's what they're saying. So it's not about you giving it all away to everybody and supporting everyone around you. It's about by you taking care of yourself, others are going to see it, and then they will respond in that way, that they will feel happier in a sense of, we'll create that balance more, to be honest. They just said, as you're talking, it's about stripping back those layers of yourself. So stripping back those layers, that layers of the fear, of where that fear comes from, where are you holding it? They've done this again. So I often use this with clients. I often bring this up. The little doll that I have here, you know, this represents who we are, that the world sees of you as an individual. And then stripping back. So for fear, it's stripping back those layers. Where are you holding that fear? What is it knocking onto within you? So going all the way back to childhood, to different traumas in your life, the fear. So it goes all the way back until it gets so small that it gets teeny weeny, and it's going again. Wherever you could be holding that fear, wherever it is, strip it back, all the way back. The layers of yourself. And as you strip back that layer, or wherever that fear is connected, it unravels, they just said, like knitting, when you take a knitting out. Wherever that fear is laying, okay, and they're bringing back sacral again, and the base chakra, which really does deal with the younger part of ourselves, and those insecurities, those knock-on insecurities of love, finances, okay, of course, because that's your foundation. Those are your core foundation. So by feeling fear and knowing where that comes from, by allowing that to strip all the way back, to work with that, and then go to your higher self to do that work on. I mean, that's why we also have therapists who can help us as well. And I know my work at the moment with clients, by doing the therapy of them, of releasing of what's happened and where it's, you know, where it's coming from, that helps people to move forward too. But yes, brilliant, you're spot on. Releasing that layer of yourself and knowing where that fear comes from. Where is it holding you back? Okay, thank you. They say wherever it's holding you, wherever it's keeping you stuck, it's about releasing it, knowing that you can do it. Because if it wasn't this time for it to be released, you wouldn't have that coming up for you in your life. So whatever's coming up, whatever's been presented to you, whatever's been shown to you at this particular time, it's about it needs to be looked at this particular time. It's not about saying, hold on a minute, I'll deal with it next year, because that isn't going to help. Because next year it's not, you're meant to be doing something else next year. So you need to clear that layer away first so that you can move on to the other layer. It makes so much sense. And it is that heightened awareness that's happening on the whole planet right now. I've said it before, that, you know, all this is coming to the surface right now for so many people, just so that they can start helping themselves to actually have that consciousness on the whole planet, of raising it for everyone as well. Because again, it's not just about us as individuals, which will help, but it's about raising it up for the rest of the planet right now to help us on our journey. It would make so much sense. So weekend, you know, I was in central London and was in this beautiful park, Hyde Park, and we could hear some music in the background with some friends. And, you know, with a particular friend, we heard the music and I was like, whoa, I love the sound of that. And it sort of directed us over to this area. Just by standing in that area and watching people dancing and hearing the music, my body started swaying. Okay, I'm not the brilliant dancer, but my heart was singing to it. I was like full of life. It lit me up. And that's what they mean by going to this universe, the party of the universe. Be pulled, be drawn as a magnet to what fills you up, what lights you up, what sparks off that energy in you. You're living life here now. It's not about putting things off. It's about doing what lights up your soul. And very much so what they're just saying, with music, that can really do it, can really lift that vibrational energy. So if you're feeling really low and feel quite flat, your energy level, then instead of sitting in it, yeah, you can acknowledge it. That's what you're supposed to do, is by acknowledging it. This is where I feel at the moment. This is where I am. But then listen, go and put some music on. See what tune you can tone into. They just said tone into. Just see what you pick up. Sort of put the music on. See how you're feeling. Allow yourself to be in that. Listen to the tones. Allow yourself to be swept away by those tunes, by those notes. And that's very much so what happened recently with me. And just being around people, it would lighten them up, their heart and their soul. You could feel them, you know. And there was a cross-generation of different ages. And I was watching somebody and the way she was moving, and she turned around and I was so unexpected of, she must have been in her 80s. And it was like, oh my God, this is fantastic, because her soul was ageless. It was vibrating and moving to this energy. And we can all do this, but we tend to forget. So it's like when you're in that moment, lift up your energy. You know, if it's music, go music. If it's chatting to a friend, go chat to a friend. If it's going out and walking in nature, go and do that. But it's connecting to others that are very like-minded to yourself. It's about bringing yourself into the present moment. It's about taking yourself out of the worries of what if, and it's about bringing it in. But very much at this moment of reevaluating where you are on your soul journey. Look, when, you know, I've had people sort of saying my life purpose, and I sit there with spirit and I check in, and nobody so far has been told, yes, you're going to be the next, I don't know, Einstein or whatever, and you're going to invent this, or you're going to create a space rocket that's going to go off to Mars or whatever. It's not unimportant, they just said. It's more about you learning to fulfill your life and to connect to your soul. And by connecting to your soul is by connecting to your intuition. It's by learning who you truly are, what lights you up. And I know yesterday it was very important for me. Afterwards, I came back and had a salt bath, and I laid in that salt bath and I just enjoyed the water, absorbing all those minerals, and then had those smelly sticks, and I just listened to some music, had a piece of chocolate. I was really getting in touch with what I really loved. And it's very much about that this moment, about the self-care, about looking after yourself, raising up that energy within you and really doing what feels right for you. It's about finding your balance. And where you might have gone to one of those parties in the universe with a certain section of people before, many of you change. So it'll be a different type of party for you now, and different types of people. But the people you might come across, you will, if they're like-minded and very similar on a similar journey, you're going to gravitate to them like magnets. You're going to be pulled towards them. But the moment, it's very much about that self-care, observing how you're feeling. If you're feeling your energy is a bit all over the place, you know, anchor yourself like that little sailing boat. Just anchor yourself. Bring yourself back to the present moment. If it means reading or spending some time listening to some music, like they said, just do that. But your sole purpose for being here is to connect to your soul so that your soul can then guide you to the next part of your journey. So your soul, you can tap into it and say, is this what I should be doing? And then you'll get a clearer message. When you are more in tuned, when you're listening to spirit, when you're connecting with spirit, when you're using all your senses, when you're feeling into it, your guides, your soul can guide you. Your guides will come in, your loved ones. When I'm sitting and I really need assistance from my loved ones who passed over, my grandparents, I have to be still. I have to sit there. I have to meditate. I have to tune into how my body's feeling. I have to anchor myself, place my roots down so my feet connect to the earth so that I can then silence myself, be aware of my breath that moves within my body, gently connecting to my lungs and my heart. And then I ask them to step forward. Nan, Grandad, what would you do in this situation? Or I reach out and I say to them, I love you. Can you support me at this time? I need your guidance. I need your love right now. And that's what I'm hearing to share with everyone right now, is to invite your loved ones in, your guides, to connect. If you're not aware of your energy, if you're not aware of your intuition, how are you going to know where you are right now? You're going to be thrown about energetically all over the place. So keep tuning into yourself, bringing you in, being aware of how you're feeling, bringing yourself connected to the earth by asking for guidance. Your soul, part of your soul, your higher self, your higher soul is listening to everything that you're saying about yourself. And that means those words that you might put down about yourself. Too fat, too thin, too stupid, too skinny, too this, too that. It listens to it as well, and it almost feels hurt that, oh my God, this individual feels like this right now. And all your soul wants you to do is to expand, wants you to learn. And by each and every one of you that hears this, by having your life experiences, it's just helping you to expand, You owe yourself that personal development. You owe yourself to take this time to connect. Connect to yourself first, so that you then can connect to your soul. So then you can find your soul purpose. So when the energies are tough, like at the moment, when you've got the planets that are moving around, which we know have been lined up for us at this time to help us to grow, it will make it a little bit more easier, your sailing ship, just to come back. And that's what Spirit's saying. This is the party, but you just have to choose. Do you stand in the corner? Do you go and talk to others? What do you do? But this is the party of the universe. It's your life. You decide how you want to continue. But this is the time at this moment that reevaluating where you are, what changes you want in your life. And by feeling into those moments of happiness, you can really feel it in your body, so that when you're unhappy, you really feel the difference. And your aim and your goal is to continue to move towards what you like the best and the most, what lights your soul up. And Spirit's just saying it's as simple as that. And then they just laughed, because they know it's not that simple. You were given a brain with a subconscious mind. You were given all the other emotions, and that's what makes it more complicated. But if you learn to connect to your abilities, it helps you tune in better to the universe and the divine. And in the end, you'll be able to sit there, and if you're invited to someone's party and go, how does it feel? Is it the right thing for me? No, it doesn't feel right. And if that person comes along, a relationship, and you feel into that individual and you're like, energetically, am I really liking the feel of that individual, in the sense of energetically on the same wavelength as me? We've all heard that terminology, wavelength. Like the radio station, turning those dials at the top of the radio station, tuning in to what suits you best. Is that individual on the same wavelength? Let's tune in. No, they're not. No, let's keep going, looking for the next station, looking for the next person, the next individual. A job. Let me think. Does that suit me? Does it feel the right thing to do? Let's have a little look. Tune into the radio station within you, those dials on the top. How does it make me feel? Does it light me up? Is it going to make me feel really happy? And it's not about the head overthinking. It's about tuning into your heart and how your body feels. And if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Make a choice. Make a stand. Things are changing. You have that ability now. But when you tune in more to your intuition, and you use your intuition as in tuning more into how you're feeling, that is going to guide you. That will be your internal navigation system. If it's about because it's more money, how's the money feeling for you? If you've got beliefs, negative money beliefs, and then you end up going to that job to work there, I can tell you now, you'll meet people that aren't the same as you, won't be on the same wavelength, you won't be happy, and it'll be the worst thing you do. And knowing humans, as I just said, they'll probably stay there for years living a miserable life. So you choose. You have the opportunity now. Spirit wants to work with each and every one of you so that you can fulfill your dreams. You just need to start feeling into it. And this is the time to do it, where the planets are all lined up energetically, the way things are working right now. You can start deciding the direction you want to be in. Just keep tuning in. Keep repositioning that little sailing ship with your sail. You might have to change directions every so often. It doesn't matter. But really feel into it from the heart. See if it lights you up. If it doesn't light you up, it's not what you're meant to be doing. And so by connecting, you connect to your higher self, and it leads you where you should be. This is your experience that you're having right now. And that was the main reason why they wanted to speak tonight. And this is the main reason and what they wanted to say. When people contact me as a psychic medium and soul practitioner, they're saying, I don't know my soul purpose, my life purpose. What do I do? And a lot of the information last week has been coming through from loved ones who've passed over on the side, and from guides and their higher self I've been checking into. It's been about their individual lives and how they got to connect to what lights them up. And that's the biggest thing.